Warning: the following review consists mentions of graphic violence, grotesque sexual situations, foul language, and other mature content. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Why? 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 Oh, you're wondering why I'm smacking myself with my Gankutsuo box? I'm not one to openly bash Studio Gonzo, good or bad, for each of their installments. I've seen several of their titles, including the 3 that I own, in their entirety. Several I've seen a few episodes of, and most of the ones I have seen I liked. But there was one that I really got sick with. That really sickened me. And no, it's not Gantz. Bottom line with that series, I totally agree with what everyone else, with most of the masses. It sucks ass, and is made for the slowest part of the manga. No, the one I'm thinking of, and I watched, combines Gantz's moral apathy with the over-fluctuating visuals of Samurai 7 and Welcome to the NHK. That anime is Speedgrapher, a 24-episode mystery drama and supernatural series. Ugh. This is not going to be pretty. The plot revolves around a former war photojournalist named Tatsumi Saiga, who had survived on the front lines of the Bubble War, which ultimately ended up separating the rich and the poor in Japan. Now working as a tabloid photojournalist, Saiga is ordered by his boss to infiltrate the Roppongi Fetish Club to get dirt on its leader, Choji Suikangu, and see what the heck goes on inside club. Well, this is a vice-filled, depraved, sickening fetish club where the most perverse desires can be met and granted if you have the money and status to get in. Just about everyone in Japan's political, business, and financial circles are all in on this. And Suikangu is one of perhaps the most despicable heads of the group. But he's really just the figurehead and second in command of the Tenozu group, run by Shishin Tenozu, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, he finds this 15-year-old girl named Saiga finds this 15-year-old girl named Kagura, who's being used as the catalyst to a ritual that the club members go through. Basically, Kagura contains a virus that produces an enzyme in her body fluids that if she were to kiss somebody, then whatever depraved and whatever twisted desire her target has will become a reality. When Saiga gets caught and needs a way to escape, Kagura gives him one by kissing him, and now anytime he takes a photo with his camera, it's gonna detonate. And it just doesn't have to be his own 35mm camera. It could be any camera. Cell phone camera, telescopic lens camera, any kind of lens, as long as he can use it. And of course, now on paper, this would sound like a good story, but after a quarter of the way through, I just fast forward through each episode because it's a predictable little cat and mouse game from then on out. Now it ends on repetitive cliffhangers. While the story on it seems good, I can't say the same for its pacing. It's repetitive and redundant. That's all I'll say about it. Visually, this has some of Gonzo's worst quality. It's more 70% looking. It spends 70% of its time looking like poorly done watercolor, and 30% of its time looking very clean, slick, and stylish. There are some CGI elements, but I didn't really pick up on them that much. Are there really any other good points to this show? Well, just one, and that's the English dub, specifically with the two main forces at work. Chris Sabat puts on a good role as Saiga, knowing to be calm and collected, but at times knowing when he needs to kick things up into high gear to get away in the fight. By contrast, Chris Aries plays probably one of his more sympathetic roles as Suitengu. You'll learn his backstory a little later on in the series and how, despite his capitalist money-grubbing facade, he actually despises money. Especially when the bastard smokes it. Now, I'm not joking. He actually takes 10,000 yen bills, which I think is roughly the equivalent of $100, and uses them as cigarette linen liner or something. As for the rest of the cast, meh. Bleh. I will admit some of the other euphoric abilities are pretty cool, but it just seems but some of the shots there make this show borderline SMN. Is it SMN or SML? I never remember. Are extremely distracting. Most of the cast is unlikable or unsympathetic, especially the massage therapist Bob. He's an idiot. And his transvestite dance troupe sister. Ugh. That woman gives me nightmares. Anyway, and as for Kagero and Ginza, they're two sides of the same coin as to why I hate them. And something Gonzo does in almost every single one of their titles. Why is it that they give us female characters they tout as witty and valiant who have busts that are double the size of their heads and their asses? I mean, just about every female in Gravion has this problem. Eclair in Kitty Grade's got this problem. Masani in Witchblade. Kishimoto in Gantz. Junko in Desert Punk. Kagero and Obero in Basilisk. Misaki and Hitomi in Welcome to the NHK, but their problems are at least relatable, so I'll let them slide for the most part. And so forth. The question I'm asking is, why tout them as witty and valiant when you know they're going to be the opposite in either the aspect of being stupid, whiny, and wimpy females, or just conniving, double-dealing, backstabbing, cynical, manipulative bitches? It's very pathetic. And when I said the moral apathy of Gantz, I meant it. In this show, the message is the rich get everything, and the poor are treated like crap. Even some of the middle classers are treated like it. and then everyone around said rich people, and every one of the rich are a bunch of scumbags, and the poor are a bunch of scum. I can't relate to most of the characters because of this flaw. And it doesn't take much for me to get pissed off about an anime, but Speed Grapher does it for me without even trying. Despite the clever plot, a couple of good performances here and there, and diversity of euphorics, nothing in this show really grabs me. This is about as bad as, say, having to sit through every single episode in Season 1 of Superbook again, produced by Tatsunoko Productions, if you're wondering, when I was a kid. You're wondering the comparison. I had the first season on VHS from when I was like 3 until my nephews. So we gave them away to my nephews. But bottom line, Speed Grapher is a grade A, thumbs down. I'm giving this thing a 3 out of 10. 1.5 out of 5. If you're curious or part of the small cult that considers this thing a classic, go ahead and watch it. Otherwise, stay away from it at all costs. And that's the bottom line! Cause Mets 21-28 said so!